All right, so I interviewed a 4-year-old male child for my developmental case presentation. During the interview, he was very active, very hyper, but he really wanted to participate. I kind of gave him an idea of what we were going to be doing, and I was going to be asking him questions and asking him to draw and cut and do different things with me, and he was really excited and couldn't wait to get started. As we were going through the ASQ, he actually got a little frustrated with drawing the straight line, and he wanted to sit and practice before he actually put it on the paper. So I thought that that was really interesting. And the other thing that I thought was interesting was when it came to pointing out the circles, he wanted to turn them into smiley faces or to heads of people. So I thought that was a really interesting thing that he did there. And just a rundown and a background of this 4-year-old boy that I interviewed. His parents are divorced. Both of his parents are remarried, and both of them have another child. So he spends 6 months with his mom and 6 months with his dad. And I was really interested in interviewing him just to see how he's developed, because he's been doing that since he was 2, just to get an idea of how he's developed and how he's coping and how his development altogether has been affected by the transition that he spends with his mom and dad every 6 months, and going back to one family with a new sibling and then to this other family with a new sibling, and just how he is, like I said, developing. So as far as the implications for the social work and understanding the child's development, I think the implications can be widespread. You have an idea of what your child should be doing and how they should be developing. And in his case, James is a really smart little boy and very intelligent. He uses words above, I believe, above his vocabulary, and he speaks very intelligently because he spends a lot of time with adults. But at the same time, when he wants to play, acts just like a 4-year-old. And so the implications, I think, for social work would be finding fault in areas where he's not developing well. So he was able to listen to instructions, but at the same time, when I asked him to stand on one foot and hop, he wanted to hop like a frog, and then he wanted to play leapfrog, and then his train of thought was gone. So I think for him, finding that balance between being able to, I guess, do what's asked and then still do what he wants to do. But finding fault, what I meant by that is the idea that I'm asking you to do a task, you should do it. And at that age, he may not understand that this is what he needs to do. And so I don't want to say finding fault in his playfulness and his energy, and he's a 4-year-old, so he's going to want to do that. But I think we place too much emphasis on this idea of school, and that maybe his activity level in a classroom may be judged on his inability to actually take simple directions. And also placing too much emphasis on the negative. So as we are going through, he wasn't actually to master some of the tasks that some 4-year-olds do. And so I think as far as placing negative implications on this is he's not where a 4-year-old should be, so we need to put him in a special class, or he needs to have some kind of special training. I think that could be detrimental to some children when we have a linear idea of development and where someone should fall as far as their age goes. The tools to use with population of the Southwest is ASQ Good. I think the ASQ in itself is a really good tool. Like I said, it gives you some guidelines and some things to look for as far as development goes and where children should be or how they lie on this scale. It's not to say that all children at this age have to be at one point and then in 2 months they're going to be at another point. That's why when you answer it, it says yes sometimes or not yet, because it gives you that window of time for your child to actually be able to catch up. And from this experience, I learned that I absolutely love working with his age group. At times, like I said, it Now, it's not frustrating for me, but I could tell that his mother was getting frustrated when we were asking him to do things, and he wanted to play instead of actually going through the assessment. But I completely understand, because as a 4-year-old, he wants to play, and he doesn't want to sit down, and he doesn't want to draw, and he doesn't want to, and he doesn't want to listen or go through all of these questions. But at the same time, like I said, she was getting frustrated. But this experience showed me that I love working with his age group. And I think the ASQ is an awesome tool that I'll want to use in the future. It's something that's actually used in my office right now that I work in. For one of our nurses use it when she goes for family visits. So I know that it's a helpful tool, and that it's something that's widely used. And I also learned from this experience that trying to write down and formulate what I've seen in the interview into a formal paper could be challenging, but at the same time, I like being able to see the flow and understanding how the interview process then is translated into actual writing.